Welcome back. Today's question is, what happens when your marketing department shits the bed? By now, you guys know my taste. You know that I think most problems in film come down to writing. I think most audiences will let go questionable cinematography, shaky camera work, or the occasional bad actor, which is less and less common in mainstream movies. But writing is the foundation of every movie. It sets tone and pacing and establishes the story promises and payoffs. My audience knows I love all story forms. I'm a book nerd, as you can tell. But the thing that is unique about movies is the tone isn't set in the first scene of a movie like it is a book. The tone is set in the trailer. Unless you got dragged to the movie by your spouse and had no idea what was happening, you watched this movie because you saw a piece of promotion. The 5-second non-skippable ads on YouTube, the 15-second thank God skippable ads on YouTube, or just the full movie trailer on YouTube. Where did we watch trailers before YouTube? The point being is, the trailer is what put what this story would be in your mind, and therefore set the expectations for it. The problem with that is, this trailer sold you a bill of goods. In the first trailer, it promoted this as a movie from the James Wan, the director of Saw, Insidious, and The Conjuring. Genuinely scary films, classically scary films. And that's an important piece here because you may already know where this is headed, but this is not a classic horror movie. If you've seen it, you damn sure know that. And it's being raked over the coals in reviews. Only 3 professional reviews on IMDb are over a 6 out of 10. That's not good. And I personally think, now having watched the film, that the only reason for that is unmet expectations. This movie is not a horror movie, it's a camp horror movie, and there is a world of difference between the two. If you don't know the term, a camp style movie, or a campy movie as they're referred to, is a style purposefully over the top. Exaggerated themes and elements that push the movie outside its normal genre parameters to the point of it being humorous. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't classify Saw, Insidious, and The Conjuring as humorous movies. They should have never been associated to this film. The marketing team fumbled that so f***ing hard it's difficult to put into words, because if their intention was just to boast the director's credits, they could have said it was directed by James Wan of Aquaman, a film multitudes bigger than any of those. But they didn't, because they wanted to promote this as a classic horror film, which I cannot stress enough, it is not. Like, I almost turned it off in the first scene, not because it was bad or anything, but because I thought I was watching the wrong movie. That's how different what we see in the movie is from the actual trailer. And I will say, in the second trailer, they did something very unconventional and put a director interview in the middle of the trailer, and James Wan talks about how he's trying to make something unique and that audiences are starved for something new and different. I love that, I'm into that. Unfortunately, the message was once again wrapped up in a classic jump scare trailer, and it defeated the entire point. I didn't walk away from that trailer with any information pointing to a campy feel, so my expectations remain the same. So, that's my rant about Hollywood f***face business people, and if you've stuck around this long, now you get the fun part, the actual review. And now that we know it's campy, let's have some fun with it. James Wan made a film that I think will get a classic cult following. It's like 1996 Scream mixed with more than a hint of Harry Potter. There's not magic involved, but there is a succubus tumor growing out the back of someone's head, so tell me that doesn't remind you of Professor Quirrell and I'll call you a liar. It also featured a castle on a hill overlooking a lake, and this line by the main character's sister.
Okay, maybe when the killer attacked Madison, they formed like some kind of like a psychic bond.
You can see the Harry Potter connection now, can't you? To me, the best part of this is hands down the camera work and editing. I'm not huge on the script, but passable. And 40% of the acting was middle school level bullshit, but there were some sequences where the camera panes and transitions felt so immersive, with them using the set to their advantage, with the overhead shots following our main character from room to room and losing sight of her where second story rooms were. I just loved it. It was enough to outweigh those other bad parts to me. Also very immersive when a room would change from the room she was standing in to, let's call it, the nightmare she was seeing. Every one of those transitions had me in awe. I could have watched those all day. And I also really enjoyed how how do I explain this? How James Wan told the story allowed for a deviation from the usual jump scare format, where normally a scene lingers, doing small things to build intensity until the big scare happens. This wasn't that exactly. I mean, jump scares happen sometimes, but take this scene for instance, where this old man is clearly being watched by the monster and we are on the edge of our seats waiting for him to be attacked, until the scene ends with an under the bed shot seeing his feet, and we are expecting him to be grabbed. That doesn't happen. The scene cuts to Madison, our main character, and then we see the murder from her point of view. A small detail, a small change that I thought was really refreshing for the genre. Look, this movie had problems. I think there's some narrative issues and issues within the world they've set up and how the creature communicates and all that, but on this one occasion, I'm surprisingly willing to let it go. The campiness of it just fills those usually bullshit plot holes, because we know it wasn't meant to be serious. The opposite, actually. It's meant to be utterly ridiculous, so like, what's the point of poking holes in it? Something I think I've done a really bad job of on this channel is not judging movies based on what was intended to be made and only judging solely on what I thought of it personally. Now, I'm still gonna give my opinion. I mean, you guys know I'm gonna give my opinion because it's perfect and the world needs to hear it, but I don't wanna shit on a film when I think the director made the film that they intended to make. I'm not usually a fan of campy stuff. I hate Scream Queens, I hate with a passion Riverdale, but James Wan did what he intended to, and I applaud him for that, even if it wasn't my cup of tea. So this may be a confusing rating for people after everything I just said, but on personal enjoyment of the film, I'm at a 6 out of 10. Again, campy is not my style, so I won't bat an eye at someone giving it an 8 out of 10 for enjoyment purposes, but I definitely don't support the 2 and 3 out of 10 ratings. Those feel like they're coming from people who were let down by the trailer and didn't adjust their expectations when they figured out what the film was going to be. I get it, I get the disappointment, but that's not James Wan's fault, that's the asshats down in marketing. So like and subscribe. Liking the video tells YouTube I'm a storytelling genius who deserves love and support and flowers, and subscribing boosts my ego. I mean, helps with the channel, obviously. Thank you for watching. See you next week.